I want to welcome you to the Ask Jeff YouTube channel. Here's today's question. If no man can be called a father in the sense of a spiritual leader or representative, why does Paul refer to himself by this title in 1 Corinthians chapter 4? Well, really, this is a follow-up question based on Matthew chapter 23, verse 9, where Jesus tells the Pharisee, call no man father. And again, it's in a sense of eternality and not in temporary. Let me explain what I mean by that. When you address 1 Corinthians chapter 4, here's what Paul is telling the church at Corinth. He is their spiritual father in the sense that he led them to the Lord and he's guiding them, he's directing them, he is shepherding, he's parenting them. But at no point did the Apostle Paul even allude to the church at Corinth that they had to go through him to get to God. In other words, they had their own personal relationship, their own autonomous relationship with the Lord. He was their spiritual father in the sense of guiding and directing. Now, this is an important distinction because when Jesus told the Pharisees, call no man your father, understand in the context of Matthew chapter 23, these men said that if you do not come to and through me, you cannot get to God. They were the vessel. They were the mechanism to God. Jesus is the only mechanism to God. We know that from John 14:6, 1 Timothy 2:5, and a host of other passages. So again, today, if someone is their spiritual father, or maybe their spiritual pastor, spiritual shepherd, I don't think there's any violation scripturally. Where you cross the proverbial line is where the one who guides, directs, and even maybe is raising somebody spiritually leads them to believe or takes on the role that they cannot access God, they cannot speak to God, they cannot hear from God unless they go through that person. Now, let me take this somewhat tangent. There are groups in our culture that we commonly refer to as, quote, cults. They are offsprings of a host of other faiths and religions. They believe that they cannot relate to God apart from their literature or apart from their prophets, etc. They are in violation of what Jesus was saying. Because the Bible makes it very clear in Hebrews chapter 4, we go boldly before the throne of the grace of God. We don't have to go through a pastor. We don't have to go through a prophet. We don't have to go through a priest. And so again, when Paul tells the church at Corinth he's their spiritual father and he grieves for them, he does the same thing in the book of Colossians. He said he grieves for their faith. And the reason is because just as a father grieves for their child, he led them to the Lord, but he is not the mechanism, the vessel, or the conduit to the Lord. Hopefully, this clears up what could be some theological mud. It's a great question. If you have one, send it to AskJeff.net. Maybe your question will be tomorrow's. Thanks for being a part of today's daily question. Now, we answer a question each and every day. Please feel free to submit a new question at AskJeff.net. We may not have gotten to yours today, but we eventually will continue to be a part of this. Subscribe so you don't miss out on a question every day.